good evening, ladies and gentlemen, guys and dolls, divas and gents. It is once again time for the Connie Reeves Show. My name is Connie Reeves, and I am your hostess with the mostest here at WNRR Gospel 1380, the original one of a kind. I am so delighted and so super excited that you have decided to tune in to hear another economic report. First Lady Connie Reeves, and I am happy to have some guests on tonight that I will introduce a little later, but I also want to first bring on my co-host, overseer, Pastor Clyde Lawrence out of Los Angeles. How are you doing this evening, Pastor?
Connie, I'm doing absolutely great and marvelous. So happy to be with you this evening.
I just want to tell you, Pastor, that you really missed a really exciting cruise. We are essential service and product brokers who specialize in travel. And we had the awesome pleasure to go on a company cruise just recently. And it was just marvelous, Pastor. I'm really sorry that you missed it. I really, really am.
Well, Connie, that's the last one I'll miss. I'm already planning for the next one, and thereafter to be on those cruises. Sounds exciting.
That is the best attitude that you can have, because tonight I have a few of our business partners who were on the cruise, and I'll introduce them a little bit later. We went on Royal Caribbean Oasis of the Seas, and Oasis of the Seas isn't a ship for the sit back and cruise set. It's a destination for bold explorers with whole neighborhoods that await your discovery. Show adventurers whose boss at the pool and sports zone. You can take a spin on the classic carousel at the boardwalk or discover 7 nights of excitement at entertainment place. And they also had zip lining and surfing and mountain climbing on this cruise. Now, my husband and I, we're more of the sit back and cruise set. We usually go on 7 to 14-day cruises. And so when I learned about our contest for this cruise and that it was just going to be 3 days, I was like, oh, no, I don't think I'm going to want to do no 3 days. Because it's just so much to get on the ship, unpack. You got to go through the drill. Then next thing you know, it's over. It's time to repack and get off the ship. So I was not really interested. But when I was called to say that I could go, I was like, oh, okay, well, might as well go anyway, since it's our corporate cruise, and we need to find out what's going on with our corporate, Pastor Clyde. You know that. So my husband and I went, and I can tell you, I had a ball. It was so good to be able to travel with people that I know. We had a white party, and I saw everybody then. Then the rest of the time, I was spent the time, basically, they had one particular floor 15, that had all of the swimming pools, and it must have had about 12 hot tubs and jacuzzis. So that's where you could find me at. And then our last night, we had a 70s party. And let me tell you, they went all out out with their costumes. I couldn't believe it. And they really, really party. And so we had a wonderful time. And we sailed to the Bahamas. And the Bahamas has a distinctive culture which has evolved over generations from a mixture of mostly African combined with some British colonial and American influences to a unique and colorful style of Bohemian self-expression. Bohemians are best described as an easygoing, friendly, and hospitable people. The adult literacy rate is over 90%, with a rapidly growing professional class and university-educated workforce. English is the official language of the Bahamas. Bahamians are very religious as a people, and Christianity is the predominant religion practiced in the country. And most of us are Christians who are in the church, like myself as First Lady Connie Reeves and Pastor Clyde Lawrence, are familiar with the ministry of Dr. Miles Monroe. And Pastor, did you study anything of Dr. Monroe? What do you know about him?
Well, he's a learned educator and a dynamic pastor, and just a great teacher. Some of his philosophies I wholeheartedly agree with, and I'm always on YouTube listening to him. Had a great philosophy of life, and that more young men especially should tune into, because he's a thinker, absolute great thinker.
Well, we were so sorry when we lost him and his wife in a plane crash. But he was a mentor of my husband's. So anyway, we had an awesome time. And tonight I have essential product and services brokers who specialize in discount travel, and they also joined us on the corporate cruise. And I'm just finding out that two of them, this was their first cruise. So I know they were excited. We have Miss Anita Wade of New Jersey. We have Dr. Deborah Dancy of Boston, and we have someone who's an experienced cruiser and experienced in corporate cruise, which is George Selner of Las Vegas, Nevada. So, Anita, how are you doing this evening?
I am fantastic this evening, Connie. Thank you so much.
Well, so this was your first cruise. So tell us a little bit about your experience.
Yes, this was my very first cruise, and to be honest with you, I didn't have a lot of expectations. You know, I was one of those people who travel, but I thought I'd rather just fly to my destination and be done with it. I didn't think that I would value, the experience of going on a cruise. But when this opportunity came up, just like you, I decided, this is something I should take advantage of. You never know, what the experience will be. And
Absolutely.
I was not disappointed in the least. I had a fantastic time. I certainly look forward to doing it again. I'm glad that I did it on a cruise ship, the Oasis of the Sea, that had so many activities, because I'm not the person to want to sit on the cruise and just relax. I like to be involved in a lot of activities. So I certainly took advantage of several of them.
And so were you able to get off the ship?
Absolutely. I got off the ship. Now, I got off the ship alone because my roommate was under the weather. And so I decided to just go out and just explore the island on my own. And I walked along and stopped in a few of the shops and, met with some of the natives of the island. But I went out and I found my way to Junkanoo Beach. And once I got there, oh my gosh, what a fantastic time I had. I ran into some women from Atlanta, and they were so welcoming, and they invited me to join their group, and I got to spend the day with them out in the water, and I had a fantastic time.
That is awesome.
So when they found out it was my first cruise, when they found out I was alone, they, like as I said, they welcomed me in and just, showed me the ropes, and I had a fantastic time.
Now, how cool is that? That is really, really cool. See, Pastor Clyde, what you missed there?
I have just turned green.
Because we had a ball. So, Dr. Deborah Dancy, how are you doing in Boston this evening?
I am doing fabulous, First Lady Connie Reeves. And Boston is getting a little chilly around here. And I am definitely missing that oasis of the sea breeze and the warm Nassau, Bahamas weather.
Yes, and this was your first cruise also.
Yes, this was my first cruise. And I'll tell you, Connie, I am just so very, very excited about having this opportunity. I tell you, they say that you haven't lived until you've cruised. Mm-hmm. And I definitely know that that is the case, and I will be cruising much more often now.
So what did you do? What did you enjoy? What was your experience like?
Well, I'll tell you, Connie, just as Anita was saying, I really didn't have much expectation when I first started off because I did not know what to expect, even though I've traveled quite frequently. Mm-hmm. I was very much afraid of thinking about the water, and I get a little choked up now even just thinking about being out on that water and the possibility of getting ocean sickness and all of those kinds of things, because I was saying, I'm going to be the one that's going to get sick on this boat. Mm. But I'll tell you, Connie, it was nothing like that fear that went through my mind.
Oh,
because
wow.
When I first saw, when I landed in Florida, and you know what I'm saying, am I going to miss the boat? And the cab driver said to me, "There's no way, ma'am, that you can miss this boat." And as we were approaching, I kept saying, "Where's the boat? Where's the ship? Where's the boat?" Mm-hmm. And he said, "Ma'am, it's right there." And I looked, Connie, and I saw, because of my lack of experience, this big, gigantic feature that I thought was an apartment complex. And it was actually the beautiful oasis of the sea. Mm-hmm. And the oasis of the sea, this cruise line, this cruise ship, was more like a little city. And the organization of the people was just so professional. As you were saying, it seemed like you would be tied up in all of these lines, and it would take you hours to get through because of the large number of people that were boarding and exiting. But it moved like clockwork. There were no problems whatsoever because of the professionalism of this team and our organization that planned the trip. Mm-hmm. And Connie, I'll tell you, we were treated like royalty. I had a beautiful, beautiful stateroom with a balcony view on the 7th floor, and it was just simply fantastic. And as I said, it was like being in a little city. Mm-hmm. I had the opportunity of, for those that like to do a little risky kinds of things, the gambling with the casino. Mm-hmm. Going to see a play, a Broadway play that you would have thought that you were in New York City, being entertained by the cast, which was just so fabulous. And then, of course, the swimming pools and the jacuzzis. And then we had a fantastic 70s event. And it took me back to those days with the funky chicken and the bump and the afro and all of those kinds of things that we used to do and we used to wear. And then we had the corporate white party where everybody was just dressed to the nine. Mm-hmm. And then because I had a balcony view, Connie, it just touched my heart. I said, God works in mysterious ways, because I tended to take cat naps during the course of the day. And in the course of one of my cat naps, I awakened, and as I looked out, and it was daytime, I was passing one of my many higher education institutions. Mm-hmm. I won't name the university, but when I saw it, I said, oh, my Lord, this is how God works. Who would have thought that at this moment in time, you would be out on the ocean and you would awaken and you would actually see one of your universities that you graduated from having a PhD. I said, this is just outstanding. And so I just wanted to thank my company that I'm involved with right now. The leadership is just awesome. And you, First Lady Connie Reeves, it has been a pleasure meeting you and having the opportunity to be a part of your panel discussion. Because being an educator, I believe that we need to see the world. God didn't put us here just to stay in one little place. He put a big world out here for us, and He wants us to be able to see it. So in terms of this cruise that I took, as I said, you haven't lived until you've cruised, and I intend to do some more cruising, First Lady.
So true, because I have, fortunately, praise God, I've been cruising all my life. Even as a child, my parents took me on my first cruise, and I'm looking at all of this big ship and running around crazy like a little kid, and I didn't even know what it was. I had no idea. Yeah. And then my husband and I, like I said, we go on long cruises. Now, our choice is Princess Cruises, and you think that you were treated like royalty on Royal Caribbean. Oh, my God. Princess, they like kiss your feet from the time you walk on till you leave. And when you're on a cruise for a long period of time, and you have this, you have your steward for your room, and we would always have the same, my husband's into fine dining, so he always wanted the same waiter. We got so close to the people when you're on that many days. So when it's time to leave, you're like in tears, like, man, I won't see this person again. But it was one guy that we got close to, and he was from Jamaica. And when we got off the ship and we were getting our luggage, he ran down and told us, one world, one love. He said, you will always be connected to me because of this experience. So it's just a wonderful time that you can have when you cruise. And so now George Selner is out in beautiful Las Vegas, Nevada, and everybody knows how much I love Las Vegas because that is where I come from. When my husband was ready to move me to Atlanta, I was like, oh, Lord, what? Why? And George and I worked very, very close. And so George has experience. Now, how many corporate cruises have you been on, George?
This is the first one where it's an official corporate cruise. But because I belong to this organization, I get to, or we can all get the discounted prices when we cruise. So this is actually the third one for the year. Mm-hmm. We went to a shorter cruise. Well, it was a 4-night, 5-day to Catalina Island and to Ensenada. And we just wanted to try it, and we paid a very low rate. Then I went on the second one, which is also below $100 from Vancouver all the way to San Francisco. Okay. And this was all in business because when I was there, I was meeting with other people who wanted to join the organization. And so for me, it's a tax-deductible event because, I went to the cruise with the express purpose of business. Mm-hmm. So now on the Oasis cruise, that was the first one where it's official. All of the guys are together, kind of like a mini convention. Mm-hmm. And so that in itself also makes it a tax-deductible event. So we can enjoy the cruise at the same time learn about business. Like you said, how we can help others with essential products and services.
I am a spa person, and so when I like to travel, I'm looking for the best massage therapist in the world. That is my goal. So really. So what did you like? Did you get off the ship in the Bahamas?
Yes, I did, Connie. I had my wife and my son and my grandson with me. We got 2 suites, and so it was, it was a great time. When we went down the ship, we went on a shore excursion, and together with other members of our team.
What excursion did you go on?
Oh, we went on the tour around the city, and then we ended up in the Atlantis Hotel and Casino.
Oh, yes.
So some of the guys, they decided to stay in the beach and, just enjoy the surf and sun and the amenities of Atlantis Casino. So they had a great time. Now, Becky and I were a little bit more, we're a little bit senior, so, I've seen enough beach for the year. So we skipped the beach.
And so, Dr. Dancy, did you go on an excursion?
I didn't go on an excursion, but I did exit the boat and went out and enjoyed the sunshine and met some of the local people and picked up a few gifts for my family and listened to some music. So it was a good brief moment off of the ship. And as you were saying earlier, Connie, it was just so much to see and so much to do. And given my first experience with cruising, I didn't want to overdo it. But I did my part, though. I did my part.
Okay. So, hey, guys, what did you think about the food on the ship?
First Lady, this is Dr. Dancy again. The food was just simply divine.
Yes.
It was unlimited. There was 24-hour service. And whatever your heart desired, that food was available for you in terms of cuisine. And if you just thought you wanted to try something, if you thought that it might be delicious, your waiters, your servers, they would encourage you to just try it. And if you don't like it, we will bring you something else. And then not only the cuisine, but their service. They were just so indulging, so supportive, so loving, and as you said, you began to develop relationships with the help that was on the boat. So I enjoyed the cuisine experience. Phenomenal.
The food is one of the main things I enjoy on a cruise because they almost have everything. So there's the free seating in the morning, and then you can either choose to go. What do you call that? Is that smorgasbord?
Yes, the buffet.
Or your buffet, yes. Or they can offer you from a menu on the table, and they just bring it to you. So you kind of get spoiled being served at the table. And like, the doctor said, you develop a relationship with the waiters because they know what you like, your preferences, and they make their own suggestions also.
Yes.
And if, for instance, you don't like the particular dish you order and you wanted to try something else, it's not a problem at all. They just take off the one that you don't like to eat and they substitute something else.
And you can get seconds.
Yes, and you can get seconds. So my wife Becky, she loves lobster, and I think she had a couple. And I know somebody who did get 4. One is enough for me.
I thought the food was outstanding. I really enjoyed some of the buffets because there were so many options. So whatever it was that suited your palate or you had available. So if you were a vegetarian or you were into Indian food, whether you wanted Greek food or American food, whatever it was available to you. So there was just so many options, So every day you could just try something completely different. And I thought that was just outstanding.
See, that's the whole thing, I guess, why I love cruising, because they just spoil me to death, and I am a spoiled brat. But let you guys in on a secret. On Princess Cruises, my husband wanted a pie, a sugarless pie. They said, "Oh, we'll bake it for you." He's like, "Really?" They said, "Yes, What do you want in it?" They baked him a pie, and now we were on this cruise, I think, 14 days. And every night, no matter what restaurant we were in, all he had to say is, "They have a pie for me in the back somewhere." They'd go get it and get his slice and bring it out. I'm telling you, you can't beat cruising. I just love it. Now, let me ask you this. Did any of you even feel the ship moving?
No, I did not. I didn't even know that we had left the port.
Mm-hmm. So I just thank you guys for being my guests tonight. This was an absolutely wonderful show, and I thank all of my listeners for listening tonight. Thank you, Pastor Lawrence, for taking the time out of your extremely busy schedule, especially on a Sunday. I really appreciate you. And ladies and gentlemen, all we're trying to do is educate you, and educate you on how to get money, make money, and save money.